What's up, guys? My name's KhaoticK, back at you guys with a lit-ass tier list video. We are doing the 2024 edition, and we're going to get right into this. So, as you can see, we have 25 substances here to review. And we have some new additions this year. And, these are the drugs I've mostly been doing, as well as some of them I have still access to. And I included drugs that you should be able to find sources for. I have found sources for all of these substances here. So, anyways, these are the hot chemicals on the market, I guess you could say. And we're just going to be re-ranking them. I can't wait to rank them, and I can't wait to make you guys entertained. And please leave a comment, please leave a like and subscribe. And let's get right into it. Hope you guys stay high, stay lifted. Most importantly, grab a drink, grab a water, grab a snack, grab your drug of choice. And let's get right into this substance tier list video. Anyways, yeah. So, because this is at the top, starting right off the bat, I'm going to just do cocaine. And cocaine, it's pretty fun, I would say, but it has its limits. It's very cardiotoxic. I put it in B tier just because it's all right, it's addicting. It's not going to be A or S tier, and I have really bad fucking ADD, ADHD, so this shit, I have to take a lot more of it, and I don't know, it doesn't really make me focus, it just makes me twacked out, and I don't like that shit, cracked out, it's not meth, so yeah, it makes you cracked out, just like crack, and it's fun, don't get me wrong, but I've had my moments with it enough to where it's not my drug of choice. And I knew right off the bat it wasn't going to be my drug of choice. MDMA was my drug of choice. But anyways, that's a B tier. Leave it down in the comments what you guys would have ranked that. And moving on to the next. Cocaine kind of speaks for itself. So the next one we have is 2FDCK. Now, I know there is sources for this. This shit feels a lot more therapeutic than ketamine, I would say. However, both are very therapeutic. Not to say one's less therapeutic than the other, but this lasts longer than ketamine, so if you're into experiences that last longer, it lasts up to 4 hours. Ketamine only lasts up to like an hour, maybe 2 at most. And yeah, sometimes you might need a little more therapy there with the duration. You don't want it to wear off so quick, but you can achieve almost a cake hole with this. It's hard though. It's very hard. You gotta push up to like 150 milligrams and shit. Depends on your body weight, though. I mean, you could hold off 100 milligrams if you had no tolerance. I'm pretty sure, but it depends. But over time, I have to crank that dose up to like almost 200 milligrams just to fucking hole, or get almost a hole. I never have an ego death when I'm holding. It's pretty interesting. It's very hard, even with psychedelics. It's very hard to have an ego death. I have to really pump it up there, and I don't like to take high doses. But anyways, no, this shit's fucking A tier. I have changed because of this substance. It reset a lot of like weird, I guess, side effects from other drug use. And for don't get it wrong, it could be addicting, but for some reason it's not that addicting. It's such a strong experience. And then you get a tolerance, and then you're like, fuck, I have to take more, and then I have to buy more. And then what's the point of that? Please limit yourself with this substance here. Because, yeah. It's a very, very unique experience, and yeah, it's really not to be misconstrued with other substances and experiences because it's very different than them, and I would put that at A tier. So, anyways, leave it down in the comments if you guys disagree or agree, and yeah. So, moving on to the next one, ALD 52. I do know this is still around. This was actually sold as Orange Sunshine back in the day as LSD. However, it was not LSD. And not to be confused with Aladdin ALD. I mean, not to be confused with, what is it? Fucking Aladdin, dude. I don't remember what that was. Owlad, yeah. Not to be confused with Owlad, but it is different. It has similar spelling in the beginning, but it's ALD 52. It's very different. It's a lot more euphoric. Also very similar, but I would say this is a lot more of a recreational LSD trip. And it does last as long as LSD. And I think it's also a prodrug for LSD. It actually might synthesize into LSD. There's been reports, or they think that is the case. But, had to do more research. So, because it might be a fucking, prodrug for LSD, it's definitely A tier. You will have life-changing experiences off this still. You can push the dose a lot higher as well, and I feel like the dose, when it's pushed a lot higher, it's a lot more visual. So keep that in mind, be careful, but you won't have a bad trip. For some reason, it's just not like punchy like LSD, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not going to be that forced of a trip. However, both should be pretty, comfortable and mellow on the come up. But again, like, if you're trying to push a dose and trip balls, this would be a little better of a choice. You'd have less of a bad time. But yeah, ALD 52, right up there in the league with A tier, definitely above, cocaine. And I'm pretty much going to be raking the psychedelics up here. I love psychedelics, man. But anyways, right into the next one here. So this is misspelled a little bit, but it's 3-MDPM, 3-methyl-deoxy phenmedrazine. So 3-DMPM, yeah, is a very unique substance, I would say. This one is apparently, it's basically the phenmedrazine version of MDMA, if that makes any sense. It feels a lot similar to MDMA, and it's actually been detected as a metabolite. Not a metabolite, but like a byproduct, a leftover synthesization of MDMA. Actually, this has been detected left over in some batches. So that's pretty fucking interesting. I don't know if that was like unintended or if that was intended. But apparently the synthesization of MDMA can lead to this byproduct in some of the samples, which I don't know how that would occur. Don't quote me on that. I don't know much about that subject. But apparently that is what I've read. So I'm just basing this off of what I've read. This is not me just coming up with that knowledge. But I would put this in C tier. You know what? Like, it just wasn't that strong. Even pushed up to like 100, 200 milligrams. However, I would say it's a very good social drug, but for a high, it's definitely C tier. It's like hit or miss. Sometimes you won't feel it. Some people have reported they haven't felt shit off of this. I actually felt something, and that's coming from an MDMA addict. So I am very in tune with that sensation. It definitely has like a fake MDMA roll in the beginning. Like, you feel like you're about to roll, but you get dick teased, and then you don't even fucking come up. It's really weird, but you feel like you're coming. So it definitely hits some serotonin receptors, and I've read reports of people actually feeling drained from the substance like MDMA, and not in the same way, obviously, but who knows. And it apparently doesn't have a toxic metabolite, which is good. But I wouldn't be doing this shit all the time, not every day. You might become depressed very easily. But this is good for like a club. I'm not even gonna lie. You won't be tripping. You won't be too high. You'll be social. And I feel like it could bring you out of your box. I would really just do this for parties or social events. That'd be the best way to do it. And if you have ADHD, ADD, it will fucking cure it for them a bit. Actually, but it also makes you really tired, so I don't really know how much that's gonna work. Yeah, I forgot to add that. This shit makes you tired as fuck. That must be because of the serotonin action. So apparently it does release some serotonin. It's definitely an active chemical. However, again, it feels like it's teasing you the whole time. It feels like a fake ass fucking MDMA analog. But other than that, it feels pretty fucked. I wouldn't doubt it, man. Try it, but it's not that worth it in the end. But definitely worth it to collect, I guess. You might find some use cases for it. And right on to the next one. So, DXM. DXM. I'll put this in B tier because you can have some fucked experience off this. Like fucked isn't good. Like, you could have some bad experiences. You could definitely have more than good experiences off this substance, but it's dependent on dose. However, it does feel pretty dirty, so it's never going to be A or S tier, but it's a B tier because I do have fond memories of this shit. It actually did help me. I remember one time, like, I maybe go to the gym, like, and get signed up. Like, it really just kind of like, but that was before I got into like all these other substances. So I was really new to experiences at the time. But no, it definitely has a dissociative effect where you feel like your life just changed and you're gonna actually do something healthy and better. So yeah, ever since it did that to me, it's definitely a B tier. Anyone that doesn't like this substance must have not had a good experience or pushed the envelope to have a good experience. I would admit that it's pretty fucking dirty. However, it is definitely therapeutic in a way. And if you have nothing else, or, you can also cure depression for a bit. But yeah, again, if you have nothing else to do, it might cut the bill. It might be enough for you, but again, it's an addiction waiting to happen. It's addicting. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. There's a reason why people are addicted to it. So please keep that in mind. Don't be using it too much. But please also only use DXM only capsules, pills, and lozenges, liquid solutions only, like Delsum, because you don't want to throw up and you also don't want to die. So please make sure there's only DXM on the back. Anyways, let's get into this. Next one. Here's a new chemical this time. So I tried this year, earlier, a few months ago, 4-HOMIPT. And 4-HOMIPT, this one's really, really interesting because I've never really been able to dose it to where I didn't fall asleep. Again, I don't know why this is so tiring, but I've even tried to vape it. Same effect. Like 10 to 15 minutes later, I get a cerebral, high where I'm like tired as fuck. And I don't really know why. Like, I guess it could be good to sleep. It's almost like a sleep med. I'm not fucking kidding. I can never really stay up on this shit. And that's only taking 10 to 20 milligrams. So I don't know if you're supposed to combine this with something that keeps you up or what. But again, I've never really gotten that much of a therapeutic effect on this. It's very unfortunate. I've tried, but again, it really makes me really tired. And I don't know why. I don't know. But keep in mind, I am pretty tired. I'm pretty sleep deprived sometimes. So it's really just going to bring out what you're already feeling on the inside. So if you're really energetic, it might be energetic. If you're really, really tired, it's just going to make you tired, fall asleep. But I would say it's an adaptogen. It feels really good. It feels really comfortable. And very, 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 very light on the visuals. I can't stress that enough. It's just super light. I don't know. It's a stark difference between 5-MeO-MIPT, that's for sure. That shit is colorful. And it also has less visuals too, but this one, it's almost like it's all internal. You don't really have a headspace either. You don't really see anything. You don't, you notice your vision's a little enhanced. That's it. I'm not even kidding. It's probably because I have to take more. But again, if I take more, I sleep. So it's a really weird chemical. And I'm going to give it a B because I'm being nice. I want to, be nice. But it's just not that strong, visually. And I'm used to psychedelics, so I guess it's not really meant to be used like that. I mean, it's probably meant to be used therapeutically. So I would say therapeutically has its value. So there we go. B tier. But let's get into the next one. 4-FMPH. So this is still around. As far as I know, it hasn't been banned yet. But was looking to be. And I know you can still get this. So 4-FMPH, I would put this a B tier. Because sometimes it's hit or miss as well. It doesn't really, take effect. But other times it does take effect because it's fucking strong. And you only need 10 milligrams. And the reason why I say it might not take effect, because some people's ADD, ADHD is worse. So you might need more. And for me, it's kind of hit or miss. But I would say it's better than methylphenidate, for fucking sure. It's way better than Ritalin. It's actually a more therapeutic version of Ritalin. And I can't stress that enough. So it's definitely got its value. I need to pick up some more of this because 4-FMPH, very, very good chemical, very fun. And yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was very functional. It didn't get you high, which is interesting. But I mean, it kind of felt like a little coked out a little bit on it maybe. But again, it wasn't a bad high. It was functional. So again, yeah. If your Ritalin doesn't work for you, this might. And if you want to stick with methylphenidate, this will be the best option for you. That's a B tier for sure. But let's get into the next one. O-DSMT. So I think I reviewed this on a tier list before. And you know what sucks about this chemical either? Though I have found such a hard time getting this through a source. I actually got scammed trying to buy this shit. So better fucking watch out. Those O-DSMT motherfuckers are fucking weird. And you never know. It could be fucking Edazine. You got to test this shit, by the way. Don't even fucking believe it's O-DSMT. Please test this shit. Because who knows? Look at it. It's a white powder. It could be fucking anything. It could be fucking goddamn sugar. Dough. Fucking, yeah, flour. For all you know. But obviously you would know. You could taste it. But, anyways, what I'm saying is, please be careful with this. And it's almost like the universe is keeping this away from me, because I'll admit, this shit was super addicting. All right. And yeah, now that I found out I can be addicted to opiates, I'm staying away from this shit. Fuck that. So I think the universe is holding this shit away from me. I'm not playing. It's fucking weird, bro. Every time I try to get it, the vendor cancels the order. And then I got scammed when I tried to order it through a vendor that was actually legitimate and not a scammer. He selectively scammed me. So it's almost like the universe is fucking with me. But what I'm saying is, like, this one is addicting as shit. Please take it from me. Yeah. But anyways, I'll put this in A tier, okay? Because even though it's addicting and shit, you know, as long as you're not smoking or anything, I think if you take it orally, you're fine. All right? Don't start smoking it. Don't do none of that shit. Don't do none of that fucking tweaker shit off the foil. Please be careful. But again, you know, it's therapeutic in the way where if you really have that bad of pain, it can work. But it's an opiate like everything else. So please keep your, you know, usage in check. Don't be doing it every day. But yeah, I swear there's some curse on me. I can't get a hold of this shit anymore. And I used to be able to get a hold of it just fine. So that's fucking weird. But you never know. I'm going to come out with a substance review for this. And probably the euphoria of O-DSMT, because it had some fucking good euphoria. All right, it has a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitory action. It is an NRI in some use cases. But anyways, yeah, it functions like an opiate and NRI, so it's pretty interesting. But let's get into the next substance. That would be an A tier, just because I had a really good time with it. However, yeah, pretty much the only reason why I didn't get addicted is because I ran out. So please don't get too much. Please do enough to where you won't be addicted. But if you do more than that, please don't even pick it up again. If you're addicted, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. But next one, shrooms. Now, shrooms, definitely an A tier, if not an S tier. You know what? Shrooms are magical. That's a fucking S tier, man. I can't doubt that. So, yes, S tier for shrooms, the first S tier in this list. And the reason being, you know why. I mean, you can't beat natural psychedelics. You know, I do have 4-ACO-DMT that converts to psilocin. But this can't be beat. And 4-ACO-DMT actually feels different than psilocin. So, you can't beat natural shrooms, man. The journey it puts you on, even the bad trips are good for you. You know, you got to be careful. Please don't redose on shrooms. That's one harm reduction tactic you must adhere by. I don't even know if an experienced person could deal with that. Because, no, there was a time, like, I was experienced, too. I redosed on shrooms and I had a seizure. And, you know, you don't want that to ruin your trip. Because it will. It fucking will. So, anyways, not to scare anybody, but shrooms. Yes, definitely S tier. Obviously, modest doses won't do much for you other than make you happy, reset you. But yeah, you know, it speaks for itself in media and, you know, shows, TV shows, movies, commercials. Maybe not commercials, but you never know. Maybe in the future. But, you know, online, Reddit. Yeah, it speaks for itself. So, yes, go out there and try some shrooms. Definitely try shrooms over all of these fucking substances. This shit will lead you to nirvana, my friend. So, let's get into the next substance. 5-APP. So, I believe I tried this earlier this year. Yeah. And I don't have any more of it. I should get more of it. Very similar to MDA. It actually felt like MDA when I pushed the envelope a little with it. You know, I actually increased the dose, I think, up to 100 milligrams. And at 100 milligrams, oh, yes, that shit felt bomb. And yeah, it definitely didn't release serotonin in the same way as MDMA or MDA, because I believe that might release some serotonin too, but kind of just antagonizes it. It doesn't release serotonin. However, it does make you drained, so it's, you know, it is still hard on your body. But yeah, you don't want to be doing this too much. It might be a lot more cardiotoxic than MDMA because of the 5-HT2C receptor. I think that's what it's called. There's also 5-HT2B. But yeah, it's like one of the ones that do something to where it affects your heart valves and shit. And serotonin does affect your heart in a massive way. So when it's getting exogenous, serotonin, it's gonna flip out over time. You don't want to be abusing this shit. So anyways, I would put this in A tier. Definitely a magical substance. You can have a very therapeutic effect. I had multiple therapeutic effects. I probably had like 3 very good rolls off this, off of like 250 milligrams. Yeah, that was 250 milligrams. So yeah, it doesn't require much. Take 50 milligrams your first time and just to gauge how you feel, and then redose. And then there you go. You got a longer experience. But again, yeah, this thing, 5-APB, feels very, very fun. So keep that in mind. It's cool. Definitely worth a try. And I believe you can still find it if you know where to look. But anyways, over to 5-MeO-MIPT. Now, this is hands down S tier for me because I've heard some people having bad experiences off 5-MeO-MIPT. But 5-MeO-MIPT for me has been therapeutic every which way. It's never failed me. I still have a little bit of left, but it's just a very, very fun substance. And it can be vaped, it could be smoked, it could be eaten. But how you use psychedelics usually, you want to take it in a really good setting. You want to use it to the best of your ability. Very good for raves and stuff. However, it's still psychedelic. It could have some anxiety. So ideally you'd want to take it probably with something that lessens it, like alcohol, GHB. Something that would kind of just make you, not worry about the psychedelic that you just took. But again, please watch your dose because this shit can get very intense very fast. The active dose range is like down to 1 milligram. So up to 10 milligrams, you're tripping balls, probably. I stay around like the 4 to 5 milligram range. But is what it is, and it feels really nice. It's very, very potent, tactogenic, very sexual, very arousing, and it would benefit your sex life if you have one. But anyways, let's get into this. 3-HOPCB is the next one, and for 3-HOPCB, that'd be A tier. Definitely some good dissociative effects coming from this substance. 3-HOPCB was fun. It was awesome. It was nice, and honestly, yeah, the last time I picked it was this year, so you should be able to get some hands on it, hopefully, but it doesn't really matter. Who cares, man? Don't make drugs your life anyway. But yeah, it's out there. It's still out there. I had picked it up. It's definitely worth a try. If you've never tried it, definitely try it. Please be careful, though, because the dosage range is very low, very, very low, and you can easily overdose. Up to 4 milligrams might be way too much. 2 milligrams. Like, I remember when I got this shit in a powder the first time, man, 1 to 2 milligrams was enough. I'm not even playing. I had to, like, measure that shit in a capsule filled with, like, something else. Like, it was so hard to measure that shit. And there was times I couldn't even measure it. I had to eyeball it, and it still hit me hard. And I was taking fucking goddamn crumbs of that shit. I'm not playing. So please be careful if you have the powder version, okay? Pills, I guess that's dosed a certain way, but if you have the powder version, also pills, because that might be too much. Make sure you can split those pills if you have to. But it is worth a try. It is very fun. It is very fun. So next substance here will be 3-CP. So I included this again because it is still around in 2024. 3-CP is, similar to mescaline, and it's also similar to allolescaline. And yeah, this substance, oh man, it's very fun. It's nice. However, pretty fucking stimulating, so be ready for that. It can last up to 24 hours. Depending on dose, really, but it lasts up to 18 hours at most. And I think it lasts longer than mescaline, if I'm not mistaken, because there really is an amphetamine ring within this chemical. So, whoops. But yeah, there's a amphetamine ring within this chemical that does prolong the effects, I assume. And amphetamine takes about 10 hours to get out of your body. So that's why it lasts up to 20 hours, because it takes at least 20 hours up to get most of this out of your body because the amphetamine ring. But also because the amphetamine ring, it actually has a unique effect profile. It kind of feels like you're rolling on MDMA if you take up to 20 milligrams. So it has its pluses, and this is actually a very, very good rave drug. especially mixed with GHB or some other shit that converts to GHB or GBL, because it's fun. And man, that shit goes together like bread and butter. So please keep that in mind. That's fun. And but other than that, it wasn't so therapeutic. I don't know if it'd be A tier for me. It'd definitely be B tier. Yeah, it's gonna be a B tier because it has a lot of weird side effects as well. Like nausea is a big one with this one. It definitely affects your serotonin a lot. Please be careful when you're dosing it. And it has the tendency to kind of upset your stomach. So I don't really like that, but it also has a sweet taste. I swear it's probably the only drug I've tasted that has a sweet taste, as far as I'm aware. It has a sweet taste. It's really bizarre. And it's interesting how it has a sweet taste with such a fucking strong high. So yeah, you can watch out with that one. And for the next test drug here. For the next substance, we have Bretazenil. And Bretazenil, you know, this one, it was fun, I guess. Yeah, you know, actually it hit me pretty hard, so I'll put this in B tier. This one lasts a lot longer. It's a lot more therapeutic. I feel like it's really not meant to be high inducing. It's really just meant to be an anxiety relief. So don't be looking at this chemical to abuse or something. Save that for, like, I guess, right, the more recreational benzos. This one's not, you know, recreational really that much, but it can be. You know, it depends if you're trying to get rid of anxiety. That's obviously pretty recreational. But Bretazenil has its use case. I'll put it in B tier. And leave it down in the comments if you guys disagree. But it kind of speaks for itself. I made a substance review on it. And the effect profile is really just the same as other benzos. However, a lot less hypnotic, I would say. But it's actually very tiring. Very sedating. But not hypnotic. If that makes any sense. So, but you might wake up the next day too high. I don't know if it's because the pills I had were dosed a little higher. But if you take too much, you will definitely feel it. So watch out if you have some obligations the next day. And let's go on to the next substance. It's 4-MMC. So this one I did try just a few months ago. About 2 months ago, I think. And maybe methadone. That's the other name. And, you know, this shit, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's fun, but I don't really know where I would rank it. Either a B or C, because, you know, I'm going to rank it a C, because it's not fun to be doing cathinones, I got to be honest. And very fiendish, very addicting. Yeah, it's not really that great of a substance, I would say. And I was really disappointed by it, because coming from a Molly head, it's obviously not going to be nowhere near it. But it does feel like cocaine, crack, fucking meth, and ecstasy all in one. It's pretty interesting. And it's a bath salt, you know, I mean, but not that that's a bad thing, but it's also very just hard on your heart. And you feel like you're in a dirty high. I'm not even gonna lie. Even though it's euphoric, even though it's fun, it is a dirty high, okay? And I can't deny that. I can't really rank it more than a C, because I'm not gonna get it again. And it was way too fiendish to where I don't even want to get it again, because I don't want to fucking go down the rabbit hole. But, you know, I would say it does deserve to be in the middle between all of this, because, again, it's a dirty high, so I have to rank it on, you know, what it really is. But I would say it's a lot cleaner in that way where you don't really come down like on Molly, you know. It's a cleaner high in the way where you don't feel so depressed afterwards. But it still feels very dirty, like very dirty. So, yeah, watch out for that. Watch out. So, anyways, next substance would be 1,4-butanediol. And this one converts over into GHB. And because of that, or actually, I'm going to put that in B tier, because even though it converts into GHB, it's kind of dirty, I would say. More so dirty than GBL, okay? And like GHB would be right here. GBL would be like S tier. I'm not even kidding. But like butanediol is like, I don't know. But, you know what, I might put it between, that gets an A and B, okay? Because it's like GHB, but again, it does add up. It's still, you know, metabolized by alcohol dehydrogenase, so it's hard on your liver, okay? And you feel like you're taking an industrial solvent. So I'd watch out, okay? But just to be nice, I'll put it between A and B because it has its good use case. It feels good in one day, and then it feels like shit the other day. So I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But, yeah. Next one. DMXE. So DMXE, this one is a pretty novel dissociative, and I guess it feels similar to MXE. I've never got to try MXE, obviously. I would have made a video, unfortunately. So, but DMXE does feel pretty fucking awesome, okay? This shit is energizing. I'll put that in A tier, all because it's not so therapeutic, though, which could be a good thing. It's very recreational. It's really not therapeutic. But obviously, if you probably push the dose on it. But low doses of this shit, it can be even vaped too. I vaped it actually to much success. I made sure not to destroy it, and it vapes really well. Instant dissociative high, lasts up to 3 hours still, and not so fiendish. You know, I've not been really wanting it, but it's a little more manic. It's definitely energizing. It can definitely leave you manic, I'm pretty sure. But it's got a bit of a sedative edge, just enough not to be, you know, full-blown mania. But it's fun chemical. It's worth a try, and it really goes a long way when you snort it. So if you want to get the best effects, snort DMXE. Just because, yeah, I found that to be the best use case, and online forums would agree. So keep to the same harm reduction as other dissociatives with DMXE, because you know why. Yeah, you don't want to be abusing that shit too much. Still gonna be hard on your kidneys. Other than that, let's get into LSD. So LSD, yes, this is S tier, man. This is one of the first times I tripped was on LSD, and I can never mistake that shit. Okay, this was awesome. All right, and yeah, it speaks for itself. It's S tier, just like Shrooms, because those are the very therapeutic drugs that I would, you know, agree with. And leave down in your comments you guys' experience with LSD, and the reason why. You know, it should be an S tier because you know why. I mean, this shit was the fucking best, okay? And really, you know, people can have bad experiences off it, okay? But really, they're just not in a good part of their life, okay? It's really not because of the substance. It's the insecurities that it will bring out. You know, it's a truth serum in a way. You got to watch out, and you got to do it around the right people. Because if you don't, you know what may happen. Bad trip. And never trip with someone that you don't know, okay? That's big link to bad trips, okay? People not, you know, knowing someone or knowing someplace, that's a instant bad trip. That's a great way to bring out anxiety because you might have already had it, so why would you trip with anxiety? And it tends to already induce anxiety because you know it's going to be a long trip, and the come-up's always fucking anxiety-inducing. That comes from someone that's done it a lot. So, yeah, please watch your dose as well. I wouldn't redose either on this because you don't want to trip for 24 hours. So, keep it to one dose. If you're going to redose, do it within an hour, okay? That shouldn't mix. But any longer than an hour, it's not worth it, okay? Should have already been feeling enough effects by an hour anyway. However, you know, watch out for duds or low dose tabs or high dose tabs even. You don't want to trip too much. But yeah, really it's an S tier because very life-changing. It still is. And I just tripped on 4/19 this year, April 19th. And it's still stuck with me 6 months later. So very, very good experience. You definitely want to give it a try. And now for the next substance here, Pyrazolam. Pyrazolam, this one is definitely going to be, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, A tier. All because it feels very good, okay? Meaning, like, it's very therapeutic. It does have some euphoria, but you have to push the dose for it. But however, you know, just with anxiety relief, that's pretty euphoric. And yeah, it's really good for that kind of stuff. I tried it, and I didn't even get addicted, man. It's not that addicting. I'm much more likely to be fucking addicted to GHB and shit, but I don't even do that all the time. I limit that shit to the weekend. But this one right here, definitely therapeutic. And it really checks off all the boxes with the benzo, you know, and it doesn't have a lot of side effects. Okay. So it's a lot better than even, you know, prescribed benzos. Oh, yes. This one's way better than prescribed benzos. However, very, very short half-life, so it's addicting. Watch out for that, and the withdrawals will come fast and hard. So watch out. Watch out. But other than that, it's a very, very good chemical. And it's been around, so not entirely new, but definitely new on the RC scene to where you can pick it up now, at least on my perspective. But anyways, yeah, it speaks for itself. It's just another benzo. And for the next one here, OPCE. So I had just gotten this chemical, tried it, and I'm going to be making a review on it. And until I do, you guys will have to wait. But OPCE, this shit, yeah, it's almost like energizing in a way, but sedating at the same time. And this shit feels pretty nice as a dissociative, okay? And it's hard to find one to, you know, compare it to, but I would say DCK is comparable to this because that's OPCM, I believe. OPCM, I don't know. It's something like that. But yeah, it's a lot similar to that. And definitely worth a try, man. You know, this shit is around. I found a source and give it a go. I would definitely use this a lot more if I were you. I'd put that in A tier. And as far as that goes, yes, OPCE, yeah, it feels really nice and very, very fun. So please give it a try. And it's very gentle, you know, very, very therapeutic too when you push the dose a bit. And also known as Philosopher's Stone, or at least that's what the vendors coined it. But interesting take on the chemical. But other than that, let's get into weed. So weed is just good old weed. You know, this stands for anything THC related, any of those weird cannabinoids, edibles, wax, anything THC. This represents it all. So S tier, man. S fucking tier right away. No debate. And yeah, it speaks for itself. It's all around. It's fun. It is addicting. Please be careful. Yada, yada. Same shit, but all drugs are addicting, so it doesn't matter. It really matters on how much you're doing. So yes, it doesn't matter that they're all addicting, but it is down to you as the user. So keep in mind, keep in moderation with it. And it has a sickly withdrawal. Like, I had to go 2 weeks with that shit on a cruise, man. I was withdrawing bad. So it's definitely an addiction. It's definitely a real withdrawal. And be prepped for that shit. If you know, if it's not working out for you, don't do it. Don't give in to people that are like, oh, just smoke weed, just smoke weed. It might not work for you. It might not be enough. I have to put that out there. I'm not going to be so egotistic on that. It definitely does not work for everyone. And it definitely might start making you super emotional without it. You know, your emotional regulation will go to shit. I gotta be honest. It helps you cope, but then you don't realize you're not coping without a drug. So then if you actually go through something without the drug, you can't cope. Like literally, you can't. Your brain doesn't even know how. So please be careful. If you're gonna go through shit, please cope through it without the weed in your system. I know you're gonna want to smoke, but please sit through those thoughts as much as you can sober, because that will help you in the longer run. It'll also help you get over it quicker, because if you just blast weed through your mouth and get high as fuck, you're not going to remember that thing that, you know, is destructive or you hate, but then you're never really going to get over it. You know what I mean? So watch out. But it is a good substance, okay? And it's an A tier. I mean, it's an S tier because it's never really killed anyone. And screw that one bitch who fucking killed someone over weed. That's not the weed, obviously. But if the weed has abilities to make people psychotic, okay, that's still not the weed. That might be the person. So, yeah, watch out for crazy people. But again, weed doesn't make you want to kill people, okay? That person had something really wrong with them. But anyways, the next chemical here is Adderall. And it's all right. You know, it's like a B tier. B tier for sure. And, you know, it's not that strong. It's really not. I mean, it can be. Basically, it's not that strong because of the certain ADHD that you have. But, you know, it definitely works. And please watch out for cut shit with meth. And, you know, because you might not be able to tolerate that shit. Like, I know I can, but other people really can't. So watch out. There could be fake pills going around with meth. You don't want that. You don't. And you don't want to be twacked out while you're trying to fucking, you know, be in class, you know, wherever you're using the substance. People are going to be able to tell you're on something else. So watch out. Make sure it's only Adderall. Please test it. Please get it from a real source. Just get it prescribed, man. It's always worth it. But now for the finale, the last 3 items on my list. GBL. So GBL, I would have to put this in S tier just because it's so fucking awesome, dude. And it's very addicting. It's a lot more euphoric, but because it converts it to GHB, oh man, I've been loving it, okay? And it has like a self-regulatory thing too, to where you actually do kind of feel like shit because you get acidosis. Please be careful. You got to use something to like calcium. You got to use some base to equal out your acid blood levels. It will raise your pH, okay? And you'll feel really, really fucked from that experience. So, but that's, you know, if you're abusing it, you'd have to be taking a lot of it every day, not even, you know, spacing it out. Not even taking it for the weekend. Now, you got to be doing it every day. So, really, there's no worry there unless you're doing it every day. But also mix it in something because this shit will burn through something. It will burn plastic. It'll burn plastic more efficiently than butanediol. And you would know why, because once you taste it, it feels like it's burning your mouth. That's why. So, it's a very, very corrosive chemical. And before anyone's like, oh, yeah, why do you just have toxic, you know, corrosive chemicals on your list? Because these are chemicals to review and this is entertaining. So I don't really care. But again, these aren't toxic. It's all about how you use them. It's only toxic if you fucking abuse them. You know what I mean? So I don't get why people have to like have that kind of argument. It doesn't mean shit. Okay. Yes, some of these chemicals are caustic. However, most are not caustic in any way. 4-MMC, that's probably the most caustic one I have on the list. So this is ranked, you know, as it should. You know, don't try 4-MMC. That's very caustic. Don't even try GBL. Don't even try butanediol, okay? It's just too addicting. If you could, just get your hands on some GHB. But, yeah, just get your hands on some good old GHB. You wouldn't have to worry about anything being caustic. So, yeah, with that being said, GBL is very euphoric. I found it a very more efficient way of, you know, converting to GHB. It feels a lot more better, you know, because if it's GHB that, you know, it synthesizes into, I don't know what it is, but it's just so much more efficient. It's so much more euphoric. And I actually kind of like that it doesn't last too long because it, you know, you can be sober if you have to be pretty fast. So again, S tier. However, you know, if we're talking about overdose rates and maybe not so S tier, okay? This is kind of just my personal opinion. Yeah, you know what? I might have to change that to A just because the overdose rate is higher. It's not like the perfect drug, okay? But that's just because I'm loving it right now. I'll put it in A tier. I'll be a little more humble with that ranking. So, yes. Yeah, you saw me put GHB there, so I was just about to get to that as to why. So, GHB, you know, it speaks for itself. It's also addicting. The dosage range is also steep, so you could take one dose and be, you know, active, take another dose, and you would be way too high. So, or, you know, comatose. And it's definitely the case with GBL. You gotta watch your intake, but it's just the same. And it tastes like robot, like salty liquid. It's just really weird. It tastes like electrical. And yeah, don't want it to taste sweet, okay? It's supposed to taste like salt. It's supposed to be NaCl mixed in with this. And you could convert this into NaCl and GBL mixture. You can convert that to GHB and as well as butanediol, but that's a little harder. But you could just take GBL, and if you have GBL, please just probably research on how to convert it to GHB. I haven't even done that because I'm lazy, but it's so much better when you take it to GHB because it lasts longer in your system. This does wear off, but it does also last up to 6 hours. Don't get it wrong. The after effects will, but the initial high of GHB only lasts 3 hours with GBL. And I think that's that might be due to how it's pretty much instantly synthesized into GHB. So that must be like crack. You know, like crack's almost instant effect. Just because it's more instant. Yeah, GHB might take up to 45 minutes to an hour to kick in, but this is pretty instant too. Don't get it wrong. If you take it as a liquid, it should be pretty instant because it goes through your kidneys pretty fast. But again, this is S tier because it's very, very good. I would say it's even good for performance enhancement. I'm serious because I've been using GBL while working out, and my muscles have been getting toned, and it's fucking awesome. And sometimes you'll be so high you won't even eat, so then you'll just fall asleep, and then it'll promote even more growth hormone. And I'm not even kidding, but I swear to God, it actually does promote growth hormone. So I'm taking this shit as a goddamn bodybuilder supplement right now, and I feel like I fucking struck the lottery. I mean, a drug that gets you as high as this and also enhances your growth hormone, making you sleep more REM sleep, deep sleep. Deep sleep is everything. It's so recoverable, you know, it allows you to sleep more and longer. However, if you fall asleep because you dose yourself too much on this, you will wake up after 3 or 4 hours. So don't worry about dying. It wears off pretty fast. But yeah, I have noticed that every time I dose myself too much with this, I either wake up 2 or 3 hours later. Always. And that's basically the sleep cycle. Once the sleep cycle is over, you get that adrenaline boost, I guess you could say. Once it starts wearing off, and then it wakes you up. So be mindful of when you use these substances, by the way, GHB, GBL. They have dopamine rebound and a crazy shit ton as well. And not just dopamine rebound, but adrenaline rebound. So norepinephrine rebound, because dopamine degrades into adrenaline, if you didn't know. So you can be up all night unless you redose and go back to sleep. So please keep in mind. But, you know, the good thing about that first sleep is usually the most enhancing. So you shouldn't really have to fall asleep again, hopefully, because you would have realized you actually got a really good sleep. Down to the last chemical here, we have 4-ACO-DMT for the grand finale. And I didn't pick this. This is the grand finale or anything. This is just, you know, this is based off top to down. So 4-ACO-DMT. Now, this chemical right here is fucking awesome, okay? And because it's so therapeutic, I'll put this in S tier. It's got to be S tier because it's just nice, okay? And for betaine down, I'm going to put it in a B tier because this is like what you do when you really can't find GBL or GHB. GBL definitely outranks betaine dial. GHB outranks GBL and betaine dial. But anyways, let's get back to 4-ACO-DMT. Just had to change that real quick. But yeah, 4-ACO-DMT, it's got to be up here with shrooms. It's very therapeutic. It's pretty much the fucking same. But other than that, it's very, very fun, okay? Very awesome. It actually only lasts maybe 4 hours. You could literally fall asleep after 4 hours. But it might last up to 6. You got to be careful. But because of that, very fun chemical. You would have a great time. And it's also very electric. It's also very electric feeling. It's got like a buzz to it. Very interesting chemical. And yeah, I would say it's a little like nauseous inducing because it does hit you harder than shrooms. Kicks in a lot faster. So it does also exit your body faster. Ends a lot faster. But this is the perfect thing if you still want to trip. Like you could trip at 8 p.m. and probably still fall asleep at 2 a.m. and get up at like 6 or 7. But that's kind of dumb though. Don't do that. You could seriously trip at 6 to 8 p.m. at night and still be able to fall asleep is what I'm saying. So it's kind of like a good last minute psychedelic trip. You're like, oh shit, I got to go work tomorrow. It's going to be sucky. I want to trip right now, but what chemical do I choose? Ding, ding, ding. 4-ACO-DMT. This would actually be the most short-lasting chemical out of probably all the tryptamines. I would even think it maybe lasts shorter than 4-ACO-DET, 4-ACO-EPT, and 4-ACO-MET. I don't know why, but for me it does. But you will still feel after effects up to 6 hours. But what I'm saying is like after like 4 hours, you'll notice that your visuals pretty much end. And you're really just feeling after effects at that point. But other than that, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this substance tier list 2024 edition. Ranking of 25 various substances that I had handpicked because these are substances I still have access to, I found sources for, and I thought they were pretty relevant for 2024. But other than that, let me know down in the comments and like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video, what your opinions are, what substances you've used, and where you would have ranked these differently. Other than that, yeah, I can't wait till 2025. It's kind of strange, but I love to be having my life progress in a good way. Has a lot of ups and downs. Yeah, we're going to rank this again next year. We're going to get right into it. And yeah, shout out to everyone who stayed until the end of the video, by the way, because most people click off. So whoever's here still listening to my voice, I appreciate you. And please join my harm reduction Discord and stay high, stay lifted. I hope you guys have a great week and night or day or evening where you are, and have a good one. Peace.